threatening the delicate ecosystem on the islands, famous for their giant tortoises and rare species of birds and plants. Richard Charter is Senior Fellow at the Ocean Foundation in San Francisco. He's been working for over 3 decades to ensure protection for fragile coastlines and marine ecosystems. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Now, this isn't the first major oil spill to affect the Galapagos, is it? In 2001, there was another very bad spill. Is this one as bad as that?
We don't think so, but this is becoming all too frequent. In 2001, a tanker called the Jessica spilled 150,000 gallons of diesel fuel, which spread to make a 186 square mile oil slick that wiped out 60% of the marine iguanas that are unique to the Galapagos Islands. Since that time, there have been 4 additional spills and groundings of various ships, 3 of them in the last year, and of course on January 28th, as you mentioned, the Floriana, a cargo ship carrying 10,000 gallons of fuel and 1,400 tons of cargo, a lot of it hazardous cargo, including cylinders of gas, went aground again.
Okay, Richard, too many spills all too often, like you said. What can be done to try and prevent more such spills from happening?
Well, this is a timeless place that serves the welfare of the entire Earth community. These islands belong to all humanity. This is the Galapagos Marine Reserve is one of the largest and most biologically diverse marine protected areas in the world. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognized for its value in maintaining unique species. It's been Ecuador National Park since 1959, and I would suggest that because of the repetitive nature of these ship groundings, either navigational improvements or perhaps double-hulled tankers. In the case of the tanker in 2001, these cargo ships seem to have a tendency to run aground. There has to be some safety protocol put in place, I think, that prevents these kind of events, because we know that cleanup, booms don't work, using dispersants, as we learned the hard way in the Gulf of Mexico after the Macondo oil well blowout, dispersants often make the spill worse. So we've got to prevent these things before they happen.
Yeah. Richard, now some species, I understand, were already in decline, weren't they, even before this spill?
Well, this is an area of the world. I mean, Charles Darwin wrote about this place in his books Voyage of the Beagle and On the Origin of the Species. This is where humanity in the natural laboratory of the Galapagos Islands has learned the most, probably on the whole planet, about how species adapt to their habitats, how species tend to customize their behavior and their genetics to work out their lives at a certain place. But many of these types of animals, tortoises, fish, marine mammals, were on the decline anyway, so there's been an attempt to restore them. It's getting harder to restore them when we have these continual ship groundings.
Richard, before you go, tell us more about the cleanup efforts in this current spill. How are they going, do you know?
Well, I believe the latest I have is that all of the ship's fuel has been removed, except for about 12% of it. There was some spillage at the outset when the ship ran aground. They used sorbent boom around the ship, which tends to absorb some of the oil. But again, in certain sea states, oil goes over and around and under booms. They seem to be doing a decent job. The question right now is what happens next, because the ship's hull is damaged to the point where it's going to require getting everything off the ship and then dealing with the ship. So the government of Ecuador has declared a 180-day state of emergency, which is primarily to establish the financial means to mount an effective response and get rid of the remaining cargo and the remaining fuel on that ship. And that's where we are right now.
Richard, thank you very much for speaking to us. Richard Charter with the Ocean Foundation.